Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be testing STALKER 2 Heart of Chornobyl on an RX 6600 GPU paired with the Ryzen 5 3600 and 16 gigs of DDR4 3900 MHz RAM. As you can see all the stats on the top left corner. Let's go over the settings first. These are the default settings which the game gave me when it started up. I said high settings preset. Okay, everything is towards the high. I've just disabled motion blur and I've lower down the depth of field in this game because I don't like them. Sharpness is at 20%, which I'm going to increase a little bit because I think the game is having a little bit smoother. Okay, so I'm increasing the sharpness to 50%. Currently I'm using FSR, but let's go to TAA, which is 100% resolution scaling. Let's apply this, and FSR 3 frame generation is currently turned off. It is decoupled, means you can use FSR 3 frame generation with TAA also, and if you don't want to use FSR 3.1 on quality in this game. Okay, so let's go into the game first. With a native image with only TAA and 50% sharpness, the game kind of looks really sharp and good looking. Yeah, although with TAA I can see some ghostiness around the objects, which sometimes is the case in many games. Some games handle TAA differently than this one, but this has a lot of ghostiness which I can observe in TAA. Yeah, so if you guys are not bothered by it, because there are a lot of things around the screen which can cause you to see a lot of ghostiness, okay, like leaves falling and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot of stutters, and let's get out of here. Currently we're getting like 38 to 40 FPS at native resolution. There are some guys at the front which I want to kill. Let's take a different approach. Let's start moving from here. I'm getting huge stutters, guys. I don't know why it's happening. One down. Why isn't it shooting? Why my weapon wasn't shooting, guys? So this game, when it restarts, it always recompiles the shaders, which is a little bit annoying because whenever you are changing settings you have to restart the game, and yeah, it recompiles the shaders again. So it is a pretty annoying thing, but it is also good that they've included a shader recompilation method in this game, because this is a UE5 title, and without a shader recompilation it's gonna be a stutter mess, which it already is. But I don't know that my stutters are due to VRAM being maxed out or due to something else, because I see, as you guys can see right now, even it's loading, it's at 7.8 gigabytes of usage. Although it's stuck at loading right now, I don't know how long it's gonna take. But yeah, so you get like at high settings you get like 7.5 gigabytes of VRAM usage, which is also pretty high. And when you're at some spots where there's a lot of objects on the screen, you get very high VRAM usage. And right now the game is not loaded textures. I've been having this issue also. When the game loads up, it has some issues loading textures, and it takes a while to load the textures. I don't know if this game has direct storage in it or not. I cannot kill these guys because I've not loaded anything. Alright guys, so these guys are dead, but look at my FPS there. So this is what I've been talking about. Whenever you're VRAM bound in this game, I don't want to use anything other than high settings, okay? Because whenever you're VRAM bound in this game, you get these kind of frame rates, okay? I'm at 10 FPS now, even though the game shows, MSI Afterburner shows that I'm at 7.4 gigabytes or 7.5 gigabytes of VRAM usage. I think that's not reporting correctly. My RAM usage is at 12 gigabytes. Some of the data is being swapped now, I think, from the RAM. Okay, now as you can see, okay, so he's dead. He has a shotgun. Let's loot these guys and then move forward. I think I'm bleeding right now. So I don't know how, but drinking stuff gets rid of the radiation. I don't know if this works in real life, guys. Game is not very real life. Okay, again, while looking at this building with a high settings preset, it's using 7.3 gigs of VRAM, but yeah, the game is stuttering and having very bad frame rates at 11 FPS. Now this is happening with an 8 gigabyte GPU. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower down the settings to medium settings preset, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, we are back, and medium settings preset have been applied, okay? And as you guys can see, the FPS, this is at native resolution TAA. Let me show you the graphics here. Yeah, it's medium settings preset with motion blur and depth of field is also at medium. This is just default. Sharpness 50%, TAA at 66%. I don't know why it says 66%. Let me just change that. First apply this. This is TAA at 100%. Now I don't know if it's gonna change. Okay, this is now at TAA at 100%, and as you guys can see, the FPS, we are at. Okay, I can see. Okay, I don't have any bullets remaining. I've got a grenade though. Anybody else here? It's even like there is no one. Okay, so as you guys can see, our frame rate is now in the 40s at native resolution, which is what it was dropping previously into the 30s, which is not very good. And on medium settings preset is in the 40s. This is a pretty intensive game compared to other games which are launching in 2024. And yeah, it has lumen. As you guys can see, there is nothing on the screen, but it's reflecting some things. Although it's not reflecting very correctly, but it's reflecting some stuff. This is actually lumen based, and when you're looking at the objects like head on, it adds screen space reflections on top of it, I think. And when the object is not on the screen, only some of the objects are reflected with lumen. Okay, so it's telling me to look at attachments. I don't know where the attachments are. Okay, so there aren't any attachments right now here. Let's try on circling around here and let's see if it drops anywhere in the lower 30s or not, which it doesn't seem like it's doing now. So for a game like this, first person game, and only single player, it seems like it's very good frame rate. Okay, although we're getting some stutters when we're loading new stuff, and yeah, which is not very nice. So let's go ahead and now try to use FSR on this, because I don't recommend you guys to use high settings in this game, guys, because as you guys can see here is 6.8 gigabytes of VRAM usage at medium settings. Although there might be some settings which you could go higher, but yeah, until we figure that out, I would recommend you guys to use medium settings preset. Okay, so this is now FSR on quality, which automatically enables resolution at 66%. And the image is kind of becoming a little bit softer and some of the shimmeriness around the grass, but yeah, there is not much ghostiness. Yeah, compared to TAA, this doesn't have much ghostiness, so this is looking better than TAA in my opinion, guys. Yep, let's get rid of the radiation and increase our health here. I don't know where we're supposed to go. Okay, there's another barn area here, and it's telling me to go here. Okay, so until we go there, I want to remain at a space where there's a lot of objects and vegetation, so we can see the performance at the area. Okay, so let's start counting the frames now, because I forgot to do that. Yeah, my stupid brain. And let's enable this. How do I bring out those nuts? Oh my god, what the hell is happening? Looks like there's something here. Oh my god, a lot of stuff. So this makes you jump. Okay, that's weird, but at least it's something. Let's see, and loot this guy. Cannot squeeze out of there. Okay, let's try and move towards this area because that's where it's telling me to go. And a huge stutter again. Okay, so yeah, looking from up top here, frame rate is in the 50s, 55 FPS average, as you guys can see there, except for the stutters that we're getting. The frame rate is pretty good, but some of the textures are loading really late, and that's causing a lot of stutters. So I don't know why this is happening. Maybe a lot of data is being swapped from the RAM or something like that, but yeah. So with medium settings preset, it's very playable at 55 FPS if you guys got a better CPU, because as you guys can see, my CPU usage also is in the 70s. Oh my god, these games coming out in 2024, they are CPU hogs. With a Ryzen 5 3600, these days it's really difficult to run games at higher frame rates. That's something that I can tell you guys. And what the hell was that? I gotta put my gun down. I think it's telling me to not use my guns. So guys, this is a small town area. As you guys can see, there are people there. I don't know if they're gonna attack me or not. I don't have a gun, and they seem like they are not shooting me when I don't have a gun. So I can just walk by them, and although we're getting huge starters in this area, even though we've got some like 5 to 10 people on the screen, and it's already the frame rate is dropping. It's in the higher 30s now. With FSR, this is on quality. So the game has pretty poor performance in my opinion, even though it looks better than some of the games that came out this year, but yeah, not a very good showing. So guys, this area is kind of a very bad area for the CPUs. As you guys can see, my CPU usage is at 85%, and yeah, so my GPU usage is kind of dropping into the 60 and 70%. This is not very good. So I think this is a town area, and town areas usually tend to be very CPU intensive, and they push a lot of GPU usage out of the way and hog your CPU like crazy. So we got a mission here. I don't want to do that. I want to go out first, because we're not benchmarking CPUs in this game. We're basically benchmarking the rig, but yeah, we're focused on the GPU usage mainly. So as you guys can see, as soon as I went out of that town, my CPU usage is close to 95. Oh my god, what the hell? Don't push me out, man. Okay, 50 FPS, 89 watts and 90 watts means 90% CPU, which is pretty good. When you're not in the town area, that happens. Okay, now let me lower the settings down to low settings preset, and let's see what the max we can get, because we're already very CPU bound and I want to see what happens. Alright guys, we are back and we are at low settings preset. As you guys can see right here, low settings, everything to the lowest, and we're not using any upscaling, not even TAA, which I'm gonna enable right now because the screen is looking a lot of shimmer. There's a lot of shimmer on the screen. Let's apply these settings. Let's go back. So this is better. Okay, the TAA makes the image a little bit more softer compared to native resolution. Oh no, push me out. What the hell is going on? Okay, so as you guys can see, FPS here on lowest settings, it's like 50 FPS on native resolution without FSR3. Now at lowest settings preset, I'm going to try to use FSR3 frame generation also. But let's move to this town area, which is stuttering a lot. What is happening, guys, with this game? I don't know what is happening. This is traversal stutter or something else. This game recompiles shares every time it launches. And at low settings even, it's using 7.2 gigs of VRAM now. I don't know what's happening, what's wrong with this game. Sometimes it uses 6.5 gigs at medium settings. Sometimes it uses 7.3 gigs now at low settings. So I don't know what the story is behind the optimization for this game. Even if it's optimized or not, I don't know. Now I'm out of town. In the town area where we were still getting 40s. Now we're in the 50s, like 10 FPS difference or like 20% difference in frame rates. When you're out of the town area, and in the town you lose about 20% frame rates. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind, and your CPU gets totally wrecked when you go in any town area or anywhere where there's a lot of people. So yeah, let's go and now try to use FSR3 on top of it. Let's go here and I'm gonna enable FSR3 on. Let's try to use native AA also, just to see the quality of how it is implemented in this game. So frame rate has kind of decreased, like 5 FPS difference. Oh my god, the image is a lot sharper. Wow, this is amazing, guys. Look at that, those leaves. I mean, at 1080p it was at native resolution and with TAA it was very hard to discern the different leaves, and I can clearly see those are very sharp. And yeah, this is FSR3 implementation in this game is very nice. Indeed, it's very nice. Now let's go ahead and go to quality, because we want to increase a little bit more frames. Yep, this is quality FSR3 now. We don't need to restart the game, and we got like 10 FPS more from native resolution. So this is now I would say this is very playable. Okay, even though this is low settings, but it still looks very nice. As you guys can see, there are the vegetation is not like sparse like in the other games. In many other games, when you enable low settings, vegetation becomes very low in number, like it's very sparse. But in this game, there is not much difference which I observed between high settings and low settings. Yep, and this is like in the 60s. I would say this is a very nice experience. Now let's go ahead and let's try and use frame generation, because this is the way it should be implemented. It should be enabled, guys. You shouldn't be using frame generation on 30 FPS. It's no use. Okay, it's just gonna have you get a lot of okay, now with frame generation, I'm observing that some of the leaves and some of the branches, when they move, it becomes very ghosty. And also around my gun with FSR 3.1 on quality and frame generation is there is a lot of ghostiness. Okay, and the image is a little bit more softer. But as you guys can see right here, the frame rate is in 120s. This is really nice. Now if you're getting close to 45 FPS as a base frame rate, I would say that using frame generation makes sense. It can be if you use a controller, it can be manageable and it won't cause you any issues. But with like 30 FPS, no, I wouldn't say ever to use frame generation at those frame rates, because it's gonna cause you, like for me at least, it causes me a lot of motion sickness, because when I'm using keyboard mouse, I want my aim and stuff to be very good. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.